How our clients consistently build and forge six and even seven-figure performance-based partnerships. Now, guys, really quickly, give me a minute or two of your time here. Check this out. Every website with decent traffic is kind of sitting on thousands of dollars in lost revenue every month, and they don't even know it, right? Here's how to turn that into your biggest income stream. See, most businesses have no idea how much money they're losing from website visitors who don't convert. And here's the exact formula I'm going to run you through step by step on how to capitalize on this. Now, step one is to obviously resolve the identities of those bounce visitors or that anonymous traffic using an identity resolution tool such as our SuperPixel. Um, Basically from there we go to step two, right? We use identity resolution to show them the real people behind the visits, the name, the email, the phone number, the hashed email if we're using retargeting ads, the 90% plus who didn't buy, who didn't opt in, who didn't give us their information on the website. Step three, and I'm going to run you guys through this in a second and make sure this all makes sense, but we calculate their lost revenue opportunity using their average customer value. If they convert, again, we'll go through the numbers 2%, and their average customer value is worth $500. They're losing hundreds, actually hundreds of thousands annually from unconverted traffic. So we show them that. Step four is to offered to recover a percentage of those lost prospects through targeted follow-up campaigns. So very simply, guys, your pitch becomes this. Hey, Mr. Business Owner, you're making $0 from these visitors right now. Heck, you don't even know who the heck they are, right? I'll turn them into paying customers and take 20% of the revenue I generate. Boom, end pitch. And what's the beauty of it here, guys? There's no risk for the business owner. They're not spending any additional money. They're simply sharing revenue they never would have had otherwise if you hadn't come to them. So, my bottom line here is stop competing for marketing budgets and start creating profit sharing agreements from revenue that didn't exist before, and you really stand out from your competition. So, either check the description below, shoot me a DM, or drop a comment below saying revenue formula, and I'll send you the calculator and the exact scripts that turn lost website traffic into monthly revenue and revenue share deals ultimately. So, really quickly, we would install the code onto the header of their website, resolve 30+% of their mounts visitors, and turn them into leads. Right now that we've resolved those identities, and guys, as I said, that means we're going to get the first and last name, the email address, the SMS number, the hashed SHA-256 file, which is used for retargeting ads, Meta, Google, etc. So now that we have that, our next step is obviously to reactivate that data and reactivate those bounce visitors into actual customers. So here's a quick little example and run through on my screen. Let's say we're talking with a business owner that gets 10,000 hits to their website. Let's say their website gets a 5% conversion rate. That would lead to 500 leads or deals or booked calls or whatever it is with that business owner, right? Depending if they're service-based, physical products, et cetera, et cetera. So now that means we have about 9,500 bounce visitors or anonymous traffic. And as I say to a lot of business owners, hey, Bob, if somebody visits your website and they don't opt in and give you their information, is there any way to know who's visiting your website or anything about them? Well, no, Ray. If they don't opt in, there's no way to know that. Totally. And that's kind of the old way of doing business, Bob. There's some new technology out there called identity resolution. My tool specifically is called the SuperPixel. And what happens is I slap that one piece of code right onto your existing header of your website or landing page getting that traffic. My pixel starts firing almost instantly. It starts to resolve the name, email, phone number, etc. of your bounce visitors to the tune of about 30 to 60%. But let's say it works out at worst case scenario and we match about 3,000 leads as shown here, right? And then we reactivate them via retargeting ads, very simple, SMS, email campaigns, et cetera, et cetera. Let's say we convert at 5%, same rate that their website did. Usually this warm traffic, people who have already visited your website with much more direct retargeting is going to even convert at a higher percent. But let's say worst case scenario, 5%. That leads to 150 more leads or sales or booked calls or whatever it is month in and month out. So the other tool I'm going to run you through super quick and what's going to be included if you comment or reach out and DM me below is the actual calculator that I talked about, right? So let me just show you that super quickly. And again, you could play around with this and we'll see the numbers change. Let's just say I change this from $19.97 to $14.97 per month, right? Once I click out of there, you're going to see the numbers below just changed a little bit. The amount of revenue, the spend didn't change because I didn't change their acquisition or their traffic, but each one of these will change as you go through. If you guys do request this to make it work, this one you will just have viewer version. So you'll need to file, click make a copy, and once you make your own copy, you'll be able to go in and play around with this. But a real quick example, let's say the monthly traffic is 10,000 people. Let's say their cost per acquisition is about $700. We'll say their website converts at 3%, and we'll say their average order value of a deal of their product or service is about $14.97. Now, based on the 3% conversions off 10,000 people, that would lead to about 3,000 sales. We know their average order value, so that's just under $500,000 in revenue and a little over 200,000 in ad spend. Of course, there's other overhead with businesses but that's still a pretty decent margin right there. Now we see the amount of anonymous traffic or bounce visitors at 9,700. Let's say we resolve 30%. Let's say 80% of those are verified and we have all the information. Let's say our re-opt-in operates at about 15% of people from that warm traffic that book back in. That would lead to approximately 350 recovered leads. Let's say we reconvert at the same percentage, 3% of their website. Again, usually this number is going to be about double that, and I would like to do that here. But I also like to make these estimates off worst case scenario. So let's just leave it. I was going to play around with it. So that shows the recovered revenue each month at about 15,000. And it shows the annual revenue being left on the table there of about $203,000. So again, guys, if we can have a conversation with them, show them how to do this and just get a percentage, even at 20% of this account, you're talking $40K a year off one Pixel partnership account. And then go forge multiple of these. And I'm sure you can see how this can quickly grow to 6 and even 7 figures. We have clients doing this.